I said, leave that.
September 26, 2022 Board of Trustees, regular. We're going to now call the September 26, 2022 Board of Trustees regular meeting to order. Is there a motion for the adoption of the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda and I would like to, as part of that, pull item 4C.
Okay,
Can you tell me where that would be?
It's in executive session.
Right, where would it be under 6? Because I only,
Under.
which is the open, which
six
is it
C.
6C? Got it. Thank you.
There a second to that?
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. Harvey, second by Ms. Coates and Ms. Hederick. Are there any questions in reference to the agenda and the motion? Hearing none. We ask that you please cast your vote. Dr. Frazier's not here today. Don't see Ms. Coakley or Ms. Waters online, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. It's questionable. Questionable. Okay, that item passes. Item 1C is approval of minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve all 3 sets of minutes.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Coates, second by Ms. Green. Are there any questions in reference to item 1C? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Okay, that item passes unanimously. Item 1D is a moment of silence, the pledge of allegiance. We ask you please pause for a moment. I ask that you please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Ms. Coates.
Sounds like me.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members and members of the audience, I sadly must announce the passing of 2 individuals today. The first, a longtime staff member in CCSD, Ms. Berna Lee Higgs. Ms. Higgs served in the district for 21 years. She most recently served as the secretary at Northwoods Middle School. The second is a former CCSD employee, Mr. Ray Anderson. Mr. Anderson oversaw the district's capital program for several years and was a tremendous advocate for our schools. We ask for peace and comfort for both Ms. Higgs and Ms. Anderson's families, friends, and community as they mourn the loss of these 2 individuals, wonderful individuals whom will be missed and greatly by all. In your hands, O Lord, we humbly entrust our brothers and sisters in this life. You embrace them with your tender love. Deliver them now from every evil and bid them eternal rest. The old order has passed away. Welcome them into paradise, where there will be no sorrow, no weeping or pain, but fullness of peace and joy with your Son and the Holy Spirit forever and ever. Amen. This time now we'll move to item 2A, special recognition.
Thank you very much, Reverend Mack. I'd like to recognize Ms. Jennifer Coker. So we have some remarks for you, Ms. Coker, by Ms. Huggins, so please come forward.
Reverend Mack, CCSD board members, we are delighted and honored to be here. She's going to be with you, Mr. Kennedy. We are delighted and honored and a little saddened for ourselves that we get to acknowledge the esteemed accomplishments of a dear colleague and a friend and a passionate advocate for students tonight, Jennifer Coker. Jennifer has served CCSD and served it well for nearly 21 years. And prior to that, she served Berkeley County. At the school level, while she served as the principal at the former West Ashley Middle, the school's report card rating went from at risk in 2006 to average in 2009, a mere 3 years. And then during her time as principal at Daniel Jenkins Academy, she restored and led the restoration for more than 100 students back to their home schools after they successfully completed the program and established a meaningful instructional program while she was there for students that exist today in the Juvenile Detention Center. Most recently, you all know her more for her work as leader of the Department of Alternative Programs, where she focused and gave tirelessly to create equitable systems and practices while collaborating with many departments and teams. She also led the creation of a powerful framework that supported positive culture and climate for all student groups, which is now beginning to change mindsets across this district. It's very important for us tonight to honor some, not all, of the incredible work she has led. First, she supported a district-wide framework, multi-tiered systems of support, and PBIS, positive behavior interventions and supports, which has made a difference in school climate across our district. She's also been the passionate leader of social emotional curriculums for both pre-K through 8th grades, and most recently with helping me in 9th through 12th grades as a pilot in at least 10 of our schools. She's facilitated restorative practices as a framework for equity and relationship building, increased the number of students with no office referrals in our system, decreased the number of students with more than 6 office referrals by over 780 students. She's developed and led the implementation of a comprehensive plan for ESSER 3 and ESSER 2 using wraparound supports. And she initiated many collaborative project teams with stakeholders, including Turning Point Academy, the Bullying Task Force, and the Risk Assessment Task Force. She also most recently began the Progressive Discipline Plan Review Team, helped implement the Project Prevent grant, and was an advocate for students, particularly those of color, during our time fighting COVID. Please join me in honoring our dear friend and colleague, a staunch advocate for all children, Jennifer Coker.
Ms. Coker, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, along with our superintendent and staff of CCSD, we thank you so much for the services you have given, not only to the district, but to those students that seek those special attention, and you were there to fight for them every step of the way. Thank you for the work that you have put in. And it does not go unnoticed of what you have done to move the needle in trying to improve the quality of education for kids. So thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Reverend Mack. And thank you for that, Ms. Huggins. And personal thanks from me to you Jennifer, for the work that you have done in the district. Ms. Coker and I worked very closely, beginning in 2020, right after the pandemic started, working on the restorative practices. And it was incredible work that she did. I thoroughly enjoyed being able to collaborate with her and work through some challenging times. So I wish you well in the next journey in your life. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kennedy. At this time now, we will reconvene into executive session. Is there a motion?
So move.
All right, moved by Ms. Darby, second by
Second.
Ms. Hedrick.
Here we go.
Well, we will move to the conference room so everyone can just remain right here as we go to the rear. reconvene back into open session. We have item 6A. Is there a motion?
A motion. I move to approve the forwarding of a formal complaint to the South Carolina Department of Education related to the attached contract teacher.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by item 6A, moved by Ms. Darby, second by Ms. Coates and Dr. French. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Ms. Waters, I know you're still trying to log in. How do you vote?
Oh, aye, but I mean.
Yeah, okay. Ms. Coates, can you vote? You can do voice.
I'm having some technical difficulties over here, so. I
All right.
voted yes.
Ms. Green voted yes.
Trying to get her battery in.
Did I give you my mouse? Because it wasn't working. Thanks.
How that motion passes, please review the vote that has been casted to make sure that it reflects your vote. Item 6B,
I move to approve the forwarding of a formal complaint to the South Carolina Department of Education related to the attached contract teacher.
is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Darby, second by Ms. Green. Are there any questions in relation to item 6B? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Motion passes. Please review the votes to make sure it reflects your casted vote. Item 6C, is there a motion?
Oh, we pulled that one.
I'm sorry. Item 6D,
I move that we allow the student to stay until the end of the 22-23 school year and waive tuition. Second.
moved by Ms. Darby, second by Ms. Hederick. Are there any questions in reference to item 6D? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Item passes. Please review the motion that was just passed for your casted vote to make sure it's recorded accurately. Item 6E, is there a motion?
I have a motion. I move that we allow the student to stay through the 12th grade with no tuition for the 10th grade only.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Darby. Who seconded?
Ms. Coates.
Ms. Coates, seconded by Ms. Coates. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Item passes. 6E, please review to make sure that your vote was casted correctly. Item 6F,
I move that for student 45 and 46, we overturn the constituent board's decision and place the student at the requested school.
is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Darby, second by Ms. Hederick. Are there any questions in reference to item 6F? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote.
Sorry.
And that item passes. Please review your casted vote to make sure it's recorded correctly. Item 6G.
I move to approve the homeschool request as presented.
Moved by Ms. Arby, second by Ms. Green. Are there any questions in reference to item 6G? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Okay, that motion passes. Please review the casted vote to make sure it's recorded accurately. Item 7A and B, Ms. Waters, public comments.
Thank you, Reverend Mack. We have one in-person public comment today. Sydney Van Bullock.
Hi, good afternoon. As you may know, today is Rosh Hashanah. While it certainly is challenging to ensure that every holiday for every member of our community is recognized, we can and should do a better job of ensuring community events and board meetings aren't scheduled on high holidays such as Rosh Hashanah or Diwali, days that would lead to the exclusion of entire groups as they practice their religion. As a practicing Christian, I am well aware that there would never be a meeting held on Christmas or Easter. I only ask that we make an effort to show the same level of respect to our brothers and sisters of other faiths. CCSD's social media posted a greeting graphic this morning, but that is little more than pandering if we do not also treat the day with respect. During a time that CCSD is reaching out to hear from constituents, we should be vigilant in making sure that we do not alienate any particular group of people. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Van Bullock. The public comments covered a range of topics from surveys to the EL curriculum, another comment around Jewish holidays and early release days. And all the board members received those. You can look, they were pretty scattered in terms of topic, but we do all review those. And thank you so much for submitting them.
Thank you, Ms. Waters. Item 8A is the new District 9 Elementary School.
Motion.
I'd like to make a motion.
Go ahead.
To utilize Swaggart's Landing as the site of the new D9 elementary school, to implement a single attendance zone for D9 with Head Start through grade 1 at Angel Oak and grades 2 through 5 at the new school starting in school year 2024-2025, and convert the use of the Mount Zion as a family engagement center.
Second.
All right, moved by Ms. Heder, a second by Ms. Darby and Ms. Waters. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Okay, that item passes. Please make sure reflects your casted vote. Item 8B, student achievement data. Presentation will be made to the board.
Thank you very much, Reverend Mack. I'm gonna ask Ms. Anita Huggins, Deputy Superintendent, to make that presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Good evening, Reverend Mack, Ms. Waters, board members. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you results of our intercourse exams and our student results on win and work keys this year. Our presentation tonight will be brief to give you a high-level overview of how well our students did. The big takeaway, the headlines of the presentation tonight follow. First, students did incredibly well in Algebra 1 and biology and U.S. history. We saw no significant declines in English. Secondly, we saw significant growth among most of our subgroups of students, which we're excited to celebrate tonight in both the Chief Academic Office and the Chief of Schools Office. And third, and most importantly, none of this would be possible without the thoughtful, advanced planning of principals who set really high, ambitious strategic goals with teachers and students, and teachers in the classroom every day who are doing the hard work of seeing where students are, making real-time corrections, and finding ways to support them despite the challenges that they face, particularly post-COVID. So Maggie, we'll go through these slides very quickly and certainly take your questions at the end. You certainly know that the end of course covers 4 different high school courses: Algebra 1, English 2, Biology, and U.S. History. Thanks, Maggie. This first slide you'll see here, there is a scale on the side, Dr. French. I thought you would appreciate that most. You'll see here notable gains from students in 2001 to 2002 in Algebra 1 of scoring C or higher on Algebra 1. You'll see we have far surpassed where we were the year of the pandemic. And if you look back even to 2018, students made significant gains pre-COVID to their performance last year.
I'm good right now.
On the next slide, you'll notice what notable gains were made among subgroups. I'll give you just a second to look at those charts. You'll see African American students from, if you look all the way back to 2018 to where students performed this year, nearly 10 percentage points of test takers scoring C or higher in African American subgroups. Look at the difference in our Hispanic population. Both students of other descent made significant gains, and our white students, as you'll see represented on the next slide. Maggie, do you mind? No, you're fine. You'll see here that our African-American students had almost a 14 percentage point increase. Hispanic students, 13% point increase. Other subgroups, 10%, and our white students, an 8% point increase. Our African-American students scored higher than they have in the last 5 years. And you'll see that CCSD outperformed the state by nearly 15 percentage points. Again, we'd attribute this significant gain to thoughtful planning by principals and focused goal setting among subgroups, particularly in schools where we had such an achievement gap. We'll go on to the next slide, Maggie. You'll see biology. We also made gains from last year. We believe, I've talked to Dr. Eppelsheimer, that biology presents our most opportunity for growth as we set goals with principals this year. If we go to the next slide, you'll see that although the growth rate wasn't as significant in biology, you'll see that subgroups here also took, except for our Hispanic subgroup, a significant increase as well. African-American students gaining, Maggie, if you'll go to the next slide, over a 4% increase, white students, a 2.5% increase, and other ethnic groups, an 8% increase. We still outperform the state by nearly 8 percentage points, students scoring a C or better. We hope again to focus on biology this year, give schools the support they need, and look more intensely and strategically at subgroups of students as we look to make gains there. The next few slides represent our work in U.S. history as a district. Again, we increased from 2021 to 22, nearly 5 percentage points. We're not quite to where we were pre-pandemic, but as you'll see on the next slide, we've made, again, significant gains with most subgroups of students. 8.5% for our African-American students, over 4% for Hispanic students, over 5.5% for our white students. Our other subgroups did take a slight decline there, and we're looking at the why on that and trying to determine what happened there. But you'll see again that CCSD scored significantly above the state, with 9% of students scoring a C or higher. We'll look last year at our English 2. It was of the 4 EOCs, it was the only EOC in which we did not see any gains. However, we didn't take any significant decreases either. It was the first year where we totally phased out English 1 and all students took English 2. Despite that, we still exceeded the state with students scoring a C or better by nearly 5%. You'll see there a slight decrease, however, in our subgroups of students. So we will focus more on English 2 this year as we set those goals with our principals, and we do intend to focus while on all 4 areas to maintain the growth we're seeing in Algebra 1 and U.S. History. We'll be focusing more on English 2 and in our biology area. The last 2 slides represent college and career readiness. The first slide represents WIN scores. Students in their 3rd year take WIN and work keys this year. We don't really have equal comparison groups because the state did transition test mid-year. Typically in the fall, students who did not take the test the prior year and students who might need an opportunity to improve in an area take the fall administration. You'll see we're a little below the state here for WIN, but in the spring on the next slide, Maggie, you'll see that we're significantly above the state in first-time test takers and seniors who only needed to take certain areas of work keys to demonstrate that college and career readiness, which is what is reported on our state report cards. Again, you'll see broken down here by race and ethnicity how our students did. We still have quite a way to go, as is noted on all these slides, particularly as we look at proficiency. And we'll be working with Dr. Epplesheimer, who's here today, and our high school principals and teachers to make sure we're setting measurable and ambitious goals for student achievement as we work this year with all stakeholders. What questions do you have?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Huggins. Are there any questions from any board members? Dr. French?
So the first question is, what groups are included in other?
Typically our Miss Roberts, do you want to come up just in case there are questions here that you can answer? To accurately represent what subgroups you captured in other?
Sure. So as a part of other, it would be any subgroup outside of the ones that are displayed. So you would have 2 races. You could have Asian, Native American, Alaskan, Native, Hawaiian, Pacific Islander. I think I got them all.
I was scared I'd miss one, Ms. Roberts, so thank you for that.
And when we're looking at, I guess, particularly at algebra, do we have a sense of what percentage of students in those subgroups actually took algebra? In all of them, like, for instance, we are seeing the results from white students who took algebra and they got 8.7% point increase, but how many white students took algebra? Do we have that for the different groups?
We do, Dr. French. We don't have it as part of this presentation, but we can certainly provide that to you in the board brief. Is that accurate, Ms. Roberts?
We certainly can.
Okay, is there any further questions from any other board members? All right, thank you, Ms. Huggins.
Thank you,
For
Reverend.
that update and for the staff and preparing that. Item 8C is an update on the governance ad hoc committee. Ms. Hedrick.
Thank you. So over the last week and a half and continuing into this week, we've been hosting community engagement sessions throughout the district. We have 3 remaining, one at St. John's tomorrow at 6 o'clock, one at Lucy Beckham for constituent board members, SICs, PTAs, at Lucy Beckham at 5 o'clock, and then one also at Lucy Beckham at 6 o'clock. The information from those meetings is being compiled, and on September 30th, the board will have a working session to draft our goals and guardrails. Throughout the month of October, we will be working with Mr. Kennedy and his team to put interim goals and guardrails in place based on the input you all provided at the community sessions. We really appreciate everyone coming out and providing input there, and are excited to see more of this process unfold over the next few weeks and months.
Any question, Dr. French?
So if I add something.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, thank you to the staff, but I also felt that we had, and I'm sure we'll have more thank you for you later
Yes,
on,
a
but
lot.
but I really wanted to acknowledge the work that the translation services has done to help with this process. And I understand that we've learned a lot and that we've made some of our other meetings more accessible to non-English speakers. So thank you very much for that. And I hope you'll give us a better sense of what you've learned and been able to implement it later on.
Thank you, Dr. French. Any further comments? Any questions? All right, hearing none, we move to item 9A.
Chairman, I have a motion.
Okay.
I move to approve the resolution, and I'm not reading all that, Julie, can you get what you need? Okay, because it's fairly long, but I move to approve the resolution.
Second.
All right, there's a motion to approve the recommended action by Ms. Green, second by Ms. Darby. That has been listed in your board docs, but also will be listed for your viewing prior to voting. Are there any questions before we move forward? Hearing none, we ask that you please review the recommended motion when it's posted for your vote. You said Reverend Matt? Oh, okay. All right, that motion passes. Please review to make sure it reflects your casting vote. Item 9B.
Reverend Mack, I motion to approve the attached addendum to the Phase 5 Capital Programs Master Plan designating property for future use.
Moved by Ms. Green, second by Ms. Coates and Ms. Darby. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Item 9B passes. Please review to make sure it reflects your vote. Item 9C.
Reverend Mack, I motion to approve the reallocation of funds and addition of new projects that were not on the original board approved FCD fiscal year 23 project list as shown on the attached resolution.
Is there a second? Moved by Ms. Green, second by Ms. Darby. Are there any questions? Item 9C. Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Nine C passes. Please review to make sure it reflects your vote. Item nine D.
Reverend Mack, I motion to approve the reallocation of funds and to add new projects that were not on the original board approved phase 5 6-year capital maintenance plan as shown on the attached resolution. Second.
Moved by Ms. Green, second by Ms. Darby. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote.
I noticed that. So I had to go find it.
You have it, Julie? Who?
Sorry. I'm sitting next to Reverend Mack,
You're on
but too much.
You're in the. Okay, that item passes. Item nine D, please review to make sure it reflects your vote. Item nine E is for information. It's been included inside your packet. Are there any questions in relation to item nine E, fiscal year 2023 minority business utilization plan? Hearing none, item nine F is the capital projects report. It's been included in your document for information. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we move to item nine G. It's the monthly financial update that has been included in your packet for information. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we move to item 10A. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to approve the second reading of staff recommended policy updates to policy DFAC.
Second.
Moved by Dr. French, second by Ms. Hedrick and Ms. Darby. Are there any questions? Item 10A. Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. And item 10A passes. Please review to make sure it reflects your vote. Item 10B is policy EBBA.
I move to consolidate policy EBBA, GBGA, and JLCC into the attached red line policy EBBA with policies GBGA and JLCC referring to policy EBBA to approve for second reading.
Got it down, Pat.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, moved by
Favorite policy
Dr.
change. so far.
French and second by Ms. Hedrick, Ms. Darby, and Ms. Green. Julie, you can pick one of the three. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. I think y'all getting happy because we're near the end. Oops. That's the consistent. All right, that item passes. Item 11A, the next scheduled board meeting, it will be the committee of the whole meeting on October 10th. And the regular board meeting will be on October 24th. Entertain a motion for an adjourn-
And just the September 30th meeting for the
Absolutely. This coming,
working session for the
the
goals and the guardrails.
thank you. This coming Friday, reminder beginning at 9
9 o'clock to 1 o'clock
9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
here. Yes,
and snacks will be provided.
snacks will be provided.
All right. All right. Item 11A is, again, is list the next scheduled set of meeting. Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
This meeting is now officially adjourned. Ms. Shaw?